Okay. We're past the time. So,
But we don't have a quorum yet, do we?
Yes, we do.
Oh, good.
We're glad you're here.
and, so with that, we will call the Planning Commission special meeting for December 1st, 2021 to order. First order of business is a public hearing on the proposed 5-year capital improvements plan for FY 2021-2026. The CIP for the town of Somerville guides future funding, scheduling, and construction of capital improvements. Projects included in the CIP reflect both short-term and long-term investments in local infrastructure. Seeing as there is no one from the public present, unless has anybody email anything in, Jesse?
No, sir.
Nope. So if there being no input from the public, we'll close the public hearing and move on to new business, which is the resolution for proposed amended capital improvements plan for FY 2021-2026 and a revised development impact fee ordinance. You had both of those in your packets. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the resolution.
I have a motion. Is there a second? For discussion.
I second it.
Any discussion?
Yes,
All right.
because I think, like Jesse mentioned, we need to tell council that we would like for them to compare the numbers since this was done in 2020. And that was such an oddball year that they need to take a look and compare 2019 numbers to 2020 numbers and decide which they think is best to go forward and use.
Okay. I concur with that.
Yeah, I do too.
Any further discussion?
I didn't see a line where the values of what they're going to need for different items would be relative to inflation. I didn't see a CIP. Consumer investment.
Yeah,
Well, I
there's
think
no-
because of the next 5 years, they may not have thought it was necessary, but it very easily could be
It could be
from the
that.
time, because everything is jumping so fast that I agree with that. We had
If there's
really
some
ought
sort
to-
of,
Well, if they'd have done it, if we'd have done this 2 years ago, look at what the inflation is today.
exactly compared, yeah.
Um,
We don't know what it's going to be like.
Right.
In fact, I think that we're going to have, at least over the next year, a larger increase in inflation. And the other thing that needs to be taken into account is, my mind just went blank. It was along these lines. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah, I didn't
maybe we
see.
should also
Oh.
recommend to council they consider an inflation
Yeah,
increment.
And the other thing I would like to see them do is we have the ability to recommend a discount on these impact fees or not, and I would suggest not. We've got so much newly annexed land into the town of Somerville, meaning Nexton Parkway area,
no,
that
oh, yeah,
is
it's coming all-
gonna be,
all
is
around.
going to be hot to trot for the next number of years.
Nexton Parkway, Sheep
And-
Island.
Right, all of that. So I think we need to be very careful and not discount
Discounting.
any rates.
We don't need to sell ourselves cheap.
Right,
No,
It's not like there's nobody at the front door coming in. They're banging the door down now.
Right.
And the highway exits, they're running off the highway exits. So, no, I wouldn't do a discount.
so
The service is the
that was
service. This is
my,
our B, thank you.
that was my other comment.
So those would be the three.
I had a couple minor things on the CIP itself. One was I found a little humorous on, there was a line item in there for automotive freon, which is
Going out of-
expendable, consumable, however you want. It's not a capital improvement, so I think they ought to, I know they're gonna need it, but they need to put it somewhere else in the
Yeah,
town budget.
they need to read over what they're,
Yeah.
what,
Yeah, I think all the departments could probably smooth their inputs up a little bit. The police department, the fire department and the other departments put down a line item that they needed, and they projected it for 5 years. The police department put down line items they needed and then repeated them for 5 years. So it was
yeah,
a little-
I had
little
a hard,
hard to read.
I was
little
gonna say, I had a
cumbersome.
hard time reading it, probably because of that.
But I concurred with most of the things that they had in there. I wouldn't make any recommendations one way or the other on the CIP itself, other than it could be polished a little better before it goes out to the general public.
I agree.
All right, is there any further discussion?
So are we going to need to amend?
I think we add recommendation. Use the different numbers for 2020 and 2019 to consider an inflation factor. What was the third one?
Not discount?
Yeah.
No discount, yes.
No discount.
No discount.
Yeah, those could be reflected in the minutes.
Yes, sir. I'll add them in the minutes.
And-
So you want to approve the resolution as is, but then in the minutes reflect those.
With,
Those
with three
recommendations.
with three recommendations.
So I have to consider the inflation rate using the 2019 numbers and not discounting the rates.
Yeah,
Those are the
they
three.
need, right, compare the 2019 and 2020s
Okay.
before they decide which one to use.
And consider
Cleaning up those.
and maybe you said this and I didn't hear it, but the projections for 5 years don't show any inflation. If they have wanted an amount for 2022, they're asking for the same amount in 2026 for the same item.
Okay.
So it
But
stands to
none-
reason that if I buy a new car tomorrow in 2026, it's gonna cost more because of a lot of inflationary reasons. So either they're gonna buy fewer vehicles or fewer items on these different things, or now there are some of the line items that were, that line item and it was for next year, and another line item 2 years from now for a different thing. But in the case of vehicles and body cameras and some of the fire department equipment as well, they said, okay, we need this item in 2022 and we need it in 2023 and 24 and 26. And they can have the same price down for all years. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And things don't work that way.
Then my
you-
house would still be 20.
You can't build
So is that not considering the inflation rate?
yes, it is.
Okay, I was
I
like,
say I
I thought-
didn't,
Okay.
I just missed it.
Okay, yeah, so the inflation rate would go to the CIP, not to the.
Right.
impact, yes, okay.
Okay, anything else? Then I'll call for the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, like sign. The ayes have it. It's unanimous.
That's, I don't really have any miscellaneous. I think all of y'all are done with your training. so,
Training.
Yes.
Should be good. You will be getting at least one new member because Jonathan is not reapplying, so.
Right.
Oh, no.
well, They're now spending most of their time in Sumter, I think?
Hartsville.
Hartsville.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, they moved.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They moved and he's doing most of his work is in Charleston and they're spending all their family time in Hartsville. So They said they bought a newer house in Hartsville. You say 1900s?
Yeah, I think it's only like
Let's see.
120 years old rather than 150.
Yeah,
Where had they been?
over in
Briarwood.
Briarwood.
Oh, okay.
All right, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank
Charlie.
you.
too.
Thank you, Charlie. You too. I move that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Good. I was sure Peter Golden would be here for this.
I don't know why, but yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me.
Yeah, I fully expected to walk in here and see him with his little notebook. I just,